Hello and welcome to our first hands-on part of our Basics of Blender course from ColorArtStudios.com. In this section we'll be building an object using what we've learned in the previous videos and hopefully giving you a little idea of how to use this, and these methods can be used to build any object basically, and we will hopefully touch on some stuff that we forgot in the first couple videos. So let's go ahead and get started. Start with our basic Blender default scene. And what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to make an axe. We're going to make a like a hatchet type axe. So let's go ahead and go to our front view. And let's go ahead and orthogonal view. We have our cube selected here. All right, first thing we want to do is we want to make a handle for our axe. So let's go into edit mode, tab into edit mode. We have our default cube here. Let's go ahead and hit the W key and let's go ahead and subdivide this. Now this is going to be a little bit of overkill here, but we're going to use the the mirror modifier just to show you how this works. You really wouldn't have to use a mirror modifier in this kind of to build a handle because it'd be easy enough to do without. But just to show you how this works. All right, let's go ahead and subdivide this 3 times. If your number of cuts down here is an odd number, you'll end up with a center line. If it's an even number, notice how there's no center line. So we want to keep it an odd number for right now. Okay, let's go ahead and hit A to deselect everything. Let's go down here and toggle our visible only. So let's go ahead and box select. Let's hit the B key and let's select this side of our cube. Let's hit the X key and we'll go ahead and delete those vertices. So now half our cube is gone. Let's hit the 3 key and go to side view. Let's once again box select and box select this side of our cube. Hit the X key and erase those vertices. Now you have 1/4 of the cube you had before. Let's go back into front mode. Let's go into 7, side view. Let's go down here and turn on our proportional editing. Enable that, and I believe smooth fall off should be fine for this. Let's go ahead and hit our B key and let's select this side. Now what we want to do, let's apply the mirror modifier. So let's go ahead and hit our wrench in our modifier bottom section. Let's add a modifier, let's add a mirror. And remember before we had what axes we want mirrored. So we have the x-axis mirrored. So you can see now that there's x-axis is mirrored. But also in this one, we want the y-axis mirrored. So right now we have both axes mirrored, so we basically have a cube again. And don't forget to turn clipping on to keep from overlapping. All right, so let's go back into 7. And let's go ahead and grab our G key. And let's start moving this in. Let's kind of get a rounded handle. Doesn't have to be too round. It's just kind of because, you know, handle is a little bit square. Okay. So now we have a handle here, or making the beginnings of a handle. Let's go ahead and hit A. That's B, select, box select. Let's select this top. So let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and we'll go ahead and extrude. Let's extrude up, extrude again. We could actually extrude all the way up as high as we want our handle. Let's go ahead and do that. So we just want our handle here. This isn't real world dimensions or anything. This would be like a giant axe we're building here because we're not keeping the dimensions the same, but it's really not the scope of this. Okay, so now we have our handle up here. Let's go ahead and Control R to get our loop cuts. And let's try to just the best we can. Let's get as many as we can to get them pretty squared. All right, so that should be good, about 6 cuts. And let's go ahead and left click. And then right click to accept them. Okay, let's deselect everything. And now what we need to do is we need to tab back into object mode because you can't apply modifiers from edit mode. If you try to, here I'm back in edit mode, if I try to apply this, modifiers cannot be applied in edit mode. So let's go ahead and tab into object mode. Let's apply this modifier. Now when we tab back into edit mode, it's given us it went ahead and filled in the vertices. It's mirrored the vertices on both sides. So now we have a cylinder going up. All right, so let's go ahead to, let's hit 7 to go into top view. Let's hit A to select everything. Let's go ahead and scale this a little bit. Actually, let's hit O, turn off proportional editing. Let's scale this in the Y direction. Just make it a little bit thinner. Maybe something like that. Okay. Let's hit A to deselect everything again. All right, so a handle is kind of flared here at the bottom. A handle isn't just straight up and down like this. So we want this to be a little flared out, or maybe a little flared in. So let's go ahead and let's select this row here. A shortcut, if you right click, you can select your vertices. And of course, if you change it to edges, you can select an edge here. But if you want to select a ring of vertices here, you can hold down the Alt key and right click. And what that'll do is it'll select all connected vertices in a loop. If you would happen to do this here, sorry, let's get it. Okay, so we can also select that loop. So that's how it's Alt and left click. So let's go back into front view, and we wanted to select this loop, I believe. Okay, actually let's go one more. Select this loop. All right, let's hit O to turn back on. Let's Control Z. I'm not sure what I did there. Hit O to turn on proportional editing. And let's go ahead and we want to scale this. So let's go ahead and we only want to scale this on the X direction. So let's go ahead and hit X. I'm sorry. Scale X. And we want to scale this in a little bit. So we push in. And we want our in like this. Okay. So now let's go ahead and Alt click down here. Maybe this row here. So we'll Alt click that, select that, and let's scale on the X again. And get this out a little bit here. Not too much. Okay. Now sometimes what you'll find if you try to loop select this and Alt and click, you might only grab part of it. So what we have to do is Shift Alt until we can get the whole section. So back into 1. Let's shift and move it around a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Okay, let's go ahead and scale this one down. Okay, maybe like something like that. Okay, and I think maybe we want to, let's go ahead and Alt select this. Let's scale that just a little bit. Okay, so we have kind of the makings of a handle right now. So let's go ahead and get rid of proportional editing by hitting the O key. Go back to I'm not sure what's going on here. That's because I am in front view. Okay, so let's go ahead and box select this top part here. And we'll extrude this up. Maybe right there. Okay, I'm thinking we need to maybe make this a little bit thinner here. Say, let's box select again, like this. I'm just going to turn proportional editing back on, and let's scale this down. Maybe something like that. And I think we need to grab this, maybe pull it up a little bit higher on the let's get rid of proportional editing, and we'll grab on the Z and let's pull it up a little bit higher. Okay, so basically we have a kind of a handle starting here. All right.